Hi, honey.
Hi.
I can't wait to see you.
I can't wait to see you.
I can just tell by your hand that you look beautiful. I love you.
I love you.
Welcome to the Pearson Smith wedding. My name is Kyle. I know most of you in this outdoor setting already, but if I haven't met you, I am a friend of both Leigh and Bree. Both brides are present and accounted for, so we got that going for us. They did let me know, though, that if you haven't placed your cell phone on silent yet, now would be a good time to do it. I would recommend also taking the opportunity to take a selfie if you're going to take your phones out anyway, because there is a hashtag for the whole event. I think it's getting Smitty with it, which is really creative. I actually should also turn my phone on silent as well. So, cool. If you could all now direct your attention to the back, we will begin the ceremony.
Can't believe it's true sometimes. Oh, I can't believe it's true. I get to love you. It's the best thing that I'll ever do. I get to love you. It's a promise I'm making to you. Whatever may come, your heart I will choose. Forever I'm yours, forever I do. I get to love you.
You may all be seated. Thank you. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Welcome, family, friends, and loved ones. We gather here today to celebrate the wedding of Leigh and Bree. You have come here to share in this formal commitment they make to one another, to offer your love and support to this union, and to allow Leigh and Bree to start their married life together, surrounded by the people dearest and most important to them. So welcome to one and all who have traveled from near and far. Bree and Leigh, thank you for your presence here today, and now ask for your blessing, encouragement, and lifelong support for their decision to be married. The parents of the brides, Maureen and Dave Smith, and Michelle and Ray Pearson, would like to offer this blessing to Bree and Leigh. May God be with you and bless you. May you see your children's children. May you be poor in misfortunes and rich in blessings. May you know nothing but happiness from this day forward. Although some of Leigh and Bree's family members are no longer with them, they feel they are here in spirit and they will always be in their hearts. They would like to remember Thomas O'Keefe, Derek Aldred, Carrie Aldred, Bob Lacasse, Mina Lacasse, Eugene Smith, and Sally Smith. Marriage is perhaps the greatest and most challenging adventure of human relationships. No ceremony can create your marriage, only you can do that, through love and patience, through dedication and perseverance, through talking and listening, helping, supporting, and believing in each other, through tenderness and laughter, through learning to forgive, learning to appreciate your differences, and by learning to make the important things matter and to let go of the rest. What this ceremony can do is to witness and affirm your choice to stand together as life mates, and partners. There is a movie quote that I'd like to read. It wouldn't be a Kyle officiated wedding without a movie quote. I'm going to change one of the reoccurring words in the quote. I'll try to do it justice, but I'm no Jeff Goldblum. And for those of you in the audience, it's absolutely a Jurassic Park quote. How cool is your wedding now? If there is one thing history has taught us, it's that love will not be contained. Love breaks free. It expands to new territories and crashes through barriers, painfully, maybe even dangerously. Love finds a way. You found your way to each other, and your love will ensure that you find your way back to each other every day from this day forward. Now please face each other. Check. Take each other's hands. Did that already? So that you may see the gift that they are to you. These are the hands of your best friend, strong and full of love for you, that are holding yours on your wedding day as you promise to love each other today, tomorrow, and forever. These are the hands that will passionately love you and cherish you through the years, and with the slightest touch, will comfort you like no other. These are the hands that will give you strength when you need it, support and encouragement to pursue your dreams, and comfort in difficult times. And lastly, these are the hands that even years from now will still be reaching for yours, still giving you the same unspoken tenderness with just one touch. Will you, Bree, take this woman to be your wedded wife?
I will.
Will you, Leigh, take this woman to be your wedded wife?
I will.
Those were good answers for the rest of this to happen. Good job. And it's time for our audience to play along too. So, two people in love do not live in isolation. Their love is a source of strength with which they may nourish not only each other, but also the world around them. And in turn, we, their community of friends and family, have a responsibility to this couple. By our steadfast care, respect, and love, we can support their marriage and the new family they are creating today. With that, will everyone please rise? Please respond with "we will" as enthusiastically as possible to the following statement. And after stating your affirmative, if it feels natural to give like a hoo, 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 or whatever, just do it to show your enthusiasm. You'll find out why later. So, everyone here, will you here today surround Bree and Leigh in love, offering them the joys of your friendship and supporting them in their marriage?
We will.
All right. That's not bad. All right, thanks everyone. You may now be seated. In the spirit of the importance of strong friendships to a marriage, Bree and Leigh have asked two friends to speak about love, marriage, and commitment. First, please welcome Mike Condon, a friend of the bride's.
I was going to say good afternoon, but Kyle agreed to do a good evening, so literally the first line of my speech was wrong. That's the way the rest of this is going to go, apparently. It was about a year ago now that Leigh and Bree asked me if I would like to speak at their ceremony. I wasn't entirely sure why they had originally asked me to do that. They gave me absolutely zero indication as to what it was they wanted to hear from me today, which I thought was a bold choice. So when I, briefly thought about it and all the wonderful people they have in their lives, I obviously considered it an honor that they wanted me to say something today. They told me it's because I am a great friend and, mean a lot to them. I kind of wasn't really listening to all of it, but when I started to think about it, there was something that occurred to me from several years ago. I'm sure Leigh doesn't even remember it at this point, but she and one of our good friends, Nicole, asked me who I thought looked better in a pair of sunglasses that they were both trying on. In my infinite charm, I responded by saying that I actually didn't think either of them looked very good, so they shouldn't bother. At which point, Leigh decided to share with me that one of her favorite things about me is my honesty. To that end, I was lucky enough to find something that is honest and I think suits the occasion and speaks to the beauty of their happiness together. Hopefully they agree. It's titled Exactly, and it goes like this. She asked me for advice. Think twice about that, I said. That's nice, but a maestro with all the right notes, I assure you I am not. Any answers I once had, I surely forgot. But I can give it a shot, if that's what you want. I'm listening. Tears glistening, she asked, what is everything? Is it a mirage in the desert? Because it's impossible to measure the suffocating pressure you feel to find it. Never mind that it's abstract, belief more than fact. Sometimes I'm just scared to act. But why? It's like I was born with wings, but refused to learn how to fly. Try to help me out. Please tell me exactly what should really count. I told her, strength. You'll need it the length of the ride, by your side, so that a spear to your pride hits only a buffer. The world may be tough, but you are tougher. Don't suffer fools or fret what's at stake, because the absence of fear does not a hero make. It's accepting to bend, but refusing to break. Head up, look the world in its face. You'll find your place. Is that everything? She asked, staring right at me. Said I, not exactly. I told her, honesty. Even the longest dream lasts only a night before you rise with another chance to do it right. Fight to stay the course less ridden. Know that it's never forbidden. Truth comes from deep, but that doesn't mean it's hidden. It's there, and it's real. Steal from the dark to the light that's endured, and rest assured, what truly matters is your word. Is that everything? She asked, staring right at me. Said I, not exactly. I told her, love. Put it above the rest. It may have been best to mention that first, but here we are. Far from the start you may be on a lonely street, it may seem, but it sees you. Through the darkest cloud it peeks through to color the gray. And then one day, you see them. There's a freedom to derive from holding the reason you're alive. Unmistaken, you're taken as they awaken in you, everything sacred and true, what you knew was there and so desired to share. In silence, their smile and eyes say more than can the words most wise, and gone is your disguise because it's you that they have found. Those butterflies you feel will lift your feet off the ground as you catch the look you've longed forever to see. It's the one that says, I'm for you and you're for me. We are everything. Exactly. Thank you, Mike. Next, please welcome Steph Smith, Bree's cousin.
That was really nice, Mike. Tough shoes to follow there. I just wanted to say you two look gorgeous. I'm so happy for you. I love you both very much. And I just thought this reading was a good representation of what we're celebrating here today. It's called The Art of Marriage. The little things are the big things. It is never being too old to hold hands. It is remembering to say I love you at least once a day. It is never going to sleep angry. It is at no time taking the other for granted. The courtship should not end with the honeymoon. It should continue through all the years. It is having a mutual sense of values and common objectives. It is standing together facing the world. It is forming a circle of love that gathers in the whole family. It is doing things for each other, not in the attitude of duty or sacrifice, but in the spirit of joy. It is speaking words of appreciation and demonstrating gratitude in thoughtful ways. It is not expecting the wife to wear a halo or the wife to wear wings of an angel. It is not looking for perfection in each other. It is cultivating flexibility, patience, understanding, and a sense of humor. It is having the capacity to forgive and forget. It is giving each other an atmosphere in which each can grow. It is finding room for the things of the Spirit. It is a common search for the good and the beautiful. It is establishing a relationship in which the independence is equal, dependence is mutual, and the obligation is reciprocal. It is not only marrying the right partner, it is being the right partner. Love is all.
Thank you, Steph. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and tell a lot of embarrassing stories about Leigh and Bree. That's what the toasts are for, I'm sure, in a couple of minutes. I am going to tell one embarrassing story about Leigh and Bree.
Boy.
I'm letting you off the hook. It's not even that embarrassing. But I think that it perfectly illustrates what you will each bring to marriage. So a year ago, Leigh, Bree, Kat, and I went to Miami for a weekend vacation. One of the highlights of our trip was when we went jet skiing in one of the bays in Miami. We paired off on jet skis, Kat and I on one, Leigh and Bree on the other. I remember it was my turn to drive, and I was driving the jet ski responsibly, which, if you ask any of them, means slowly at maybe 10 miles an hour. Whatever, I was driving responsibly. Everyone was safe. All of a sudden, a vehicle flew by me on my right-hand side, and as it was approaching, as it was right next to me, and as it rode off into the distance, all I heard was, whoo, 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 which was obviously Leigh. I think you even threw in some Top Gun references. Got a little weird, but I had my head down, and it all happened so fast that I didn't know what the scene was, but in my mind, Leigh was driving the jet ski and Bree was hanging on the back of it for dear life, because in that moment, I also would consider Bree to be a responsible driver, much like myself. But when I looked far down in the distance by the time it actually got in focus, Leigh wasn't driving the jet ski. Bree was driving the jet ski. Leigh was on the back. And I think you kept saying you have the need for speed. That's what she kept saying. But it shocked me a little bit, but when I reflected on it, it's a moment that I've never forgotten, because in that moment, you two showed me two things. Bree, you showed me that you will always keep Leigh safe. You were never out of control of that jet ski, and you wouldn't have, because you're a responsible driver like I am. But at the same time, you showed me that when necessary, you will flex out of your comfort zone to make sure that Leigh will get the absolute most out of every moment. You're about to share your vows with each other in maybe 30 seconds. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as you're sharing your vows. Those are two reoccurring themes. You're promising for the rest of your lives to keep the person you're holding hands with safe, and also you're promising that when necessary, you'll flex out of your comfort zone to give them the most of every moment. You're also acknowledging that you found the one person in this life who will give you the most out of every moment, far and above everyone else. And that most, it could change. It might mean the most encouragement, most praise, most support. But I can tell everyone here that if anyone else was driving that jet ski that day with Leigh on the back, Leigh would not have gotten the most she possibly could have out of that moment. And with that, it is time for you to share your vows. We did a coin toss before we came out here today, and it was decided that Bree would go first. Yes. Hope I give you the right vows. Let's make sure.
Yep. The novel.
I will hold that
Yep.
for you. Yes.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah. Don't peek. You're cheating. The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, 4th of July, New Year's, blue and purple, cornichons and string cheese, sunflowers and lilies, Paramore, My Heart and Exception, Beyonce equals spirit animal, grilled cheese and tomato soup, Newman's Diet Virgin Lemonade, Easter Sweet Tarts, Chicks, Ducks, and Bunnies. Oh, and champagne. This may seem like the most random spoken word poem ever, but it's just a sample of the list that I kept track of when we started dating. A few of your favorite things, if you will. I know that we will both grow and change over the years. I'm so excited to continue to not only grow with you, but to be able to dig deeper, to learn about new favorites, new dreams and aspirations. When your taste buds change, or when Cardi B is no longer your favorite rapper, it will happen. I vow that the love I have for you will forever be an unwavering constant in your life. I vow to always remind you that today and every day going forward, you are the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. While learning about you, I've also taken a deeper look at myself and really evaluated where I can make some improvements. In order to make life a little bit easier for you, I've put together some rules that I'll do my best to abide by, for the sake of the marriage. I vow to try to vocalize when I'm hungry, so you don't have to guess why I'm angry. I vow to always keep you entertained with my dramatic ways because, well, life is hard. I vow to not make plans on Thursdays, Sundays, or Mondays during football season. That's why today is Saturday. And after this, I vow to let you be the funny one in this relationship. Again, I'll do my best to abide by these, but no one's perfect. On a more serious note, 2 years and 5 days ago, my life changed. I don't know what I expected going into that day, but by the time I dropped you off, I had to be certain I was ready for something special. There was a lot swirling around in my head that night, but I did know 2 things for certain. I never ever wanted to be the cause of your pain, and you were too amazing to let slip away. So that was day 1. My adoration for you has only grown day by day. Fast forward a couple months in, that night that we danced together in the tsunami, I wanted to scream, I love you, but I decided it was too soon. Instead, I just held you a little bit tighter. The feelings were no longer butterflies. Deep in my core, I could feel just how madly in love I was with you. And don't worry, I know I didn't play it cool. When you looked into my eyes, it was written all over my face. I can never hide anything from you. You know me better than I know myself. And that's when I knew I was in trouble. I always knew you were captivating, but I had no idea to what extent. You've had me wrapped around your finger far longer than that little ring has been there. I can't believe today is finally here. Can't believe I'm lucky enough to marry my best friend. Before I continue with my vows, I need to thank you. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for building me up when I needed it most. Thank you for believing in the best version of me. Thank you for bringing out my inner child like no one else has. Thank you for loving me more than I ever knew I deserved. I vow to spend the rest of our lives together showing gratitude for the loving, kind, beautiful person you are. I vow to adore you when you smile, comfort you when you cry, count my blessings when you laugh, and always respect you above everything else, even when we disagree. I vow to always fight for us. I know that this kind of love doesn't come twice. I know that beyond a doubt, you are irreplaceable. Because of that, I will always put your happiness at the top of my priorities. I will never forget that you are my greatest strength, and that together we can literally get through anything. I can't promise that I can protect you from the hard times that come along in life, but any bad dream or worse reality, I'll be right by your side until it gets better. If your heart ever breaks for any reason, I vow that I will always do everything in my power to put the pieces back together. That's one puzzle I will never give up on. I vow to support you no matter what, encourage you, challenge you, surprise you, and never stifle your playful, childlike energy. Not to overpromise or anything, but I vow to be your everything. Whether that's keeping you company watching Jeopardy or riveting reality TV, holding your hand on road trips, or being your sous chef when you want to throw a dinner party. I'll be the Gronk to your Brady, the true daily double to your game of life, and your partner in crime. Most of all, I vow to be the best version of me. Loyal, honest, trustworthy, somewhat funny, the type of person that takes risk and be spontaneous, loves you unconditionally and with passion, always finds the same page. Your teammate, your cheerleader, your sounding board, a shoulder to cry on. The love of your life, always and forever. I will always strive to be the woman you deserve. I vow not only to continue falling in love with you, but to love you with intention. I will not only marry you today, but every day going forward, I vow to renew these same commitments to you for as long as I live. Can I kiss her yet?
That's
No.
not what it says in my
okay.
plan.
All right, sorry.
It's Lee's turn first, Bree.
Okay.
Not entirely sure how I'm going to follow that up. Just make a wish on your night. Anything that you ask, I will give you the love of your life. In full disclosure, those are not my own words. But how could I start telling you how I feel and what I promise you without including some lyrics from your favorites, Boys to Men? One of the very first things I learned about you was how much you love them. Quickly followed by how much you love Mexican food, how easily you get sunburned, and that you might single-handedly be keeping Starbucks in business. While those things are all great to know about you, they're just on the surface. What I soon began to realize is what made up who you are. Your kindness, your compassion, your generosity, your intelligence, and your drive. All of that, and you're the most beautiful woman I've ever laid eyes on. Bree, I could stand here and tell you a million things I love about you.
Go on.
The truth is, that million wouldn't even make up a fraction of the list. You see, there are about 250,000 words in the English language, but no combination of them could adequately sum up how I feel about you. I will, however, try to summarize what you can expect once you are my wife. I promise to love you with every fiber of my being, every day for the rest of our lives. My love for you will always be unconditional, and I promise to show how much I love you every single day. I promise to remind you of how beautiful you are every day, because I wouldn't for a second want you to forget that you're the most beautiful woman in the world. I promise that I am in this for the long haul. See, I'm extremely lucky when it comes to examples of strong love in my life. When Meme passed away, my grandparents have been married for 51 years. My parents have been married for 38 years. They actually met on this day, 9/8/76. My whole life, I've watched both of them be perfect examples of unconditional love. All I ever wanted was to find someone who I could have that kind of love with. And then I found you, and I know that we are destined to have that kind of love story. I promise to protect you to the best of my abilities. I will always be protective of you and will always defend you. You are my number one priority, and I will always put you first. I promise to take care of you when you are sick. I will always run out to the store, no matter the time of day or night, to get you soup, ginger ale, or anything else you need. And I will always have a tissue ready after you have a sneezer. I promise to always comfort you when things get hard and wipe your tears away. But I also promise never to cause any tears, unless they are happy ones. And while I'm not naive enough to believe that we will never disagree on anything, I promise to always fight fair and to never go to bed angry. I promise to be humble, and I promise to admit when you are right. Just don't expect that to be too often.
This is recorded, right? Okay.
I think it's recorded. Go on.
I promise to love your family as much as you do. I know how much they mean to you, and seeing how much you love them is one of the first things that made me fall in love with you. I promise to be the best aunt I can be to our 7 nieces and nephews. I will always be in their corner, cheering them on and loving them as hard as I can. If I could give you the world, Bree, I would, because that's what you deserve. But I promise to make your world and your life as great as it can possibly be. Because while I can never decide on what to eat, what to wear, or what to watch, you are the easiest decision I've ever made, and I promise to keep choosing you every minute of every hour of every day for the rest of my life. I love you, and I can't wait to call you my wife.
I can take this, Bree. Thanks, man. Love the ring security box. Wedding rings are a symbol of commitment and love. The rings are circular, like their love, with no beginning and no end. They represent what has been and what will always be. Which one is it? This is this. Okay, take Leigh's hand and repeat after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a daily reminder
as a daily reminder
of my love for you.
of my love for you. Good that the wedding day worked.
Leigh, please take Bree's hand and repeat after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a daily reminder
as a daily reminder
of my love for you.
of my love for you.
By the power of your love and commitment, and the power vested in me, I now pronounce you married. You may kiss your wife. It is my pleasure to announce for the first time and introduce for the first time Mrs. and Mrs. Bree and Leigh Smith.
So I was told that for this speech I have to write it down ahead of time because apparently my off-the-cuff speeches aren't always the best timed and sometimes they ramble on. So I did write it down. But before I read my speech, I just have to say, I was unpacking before I wrote my speech down, and I came across a speech that you wrote for me and Alex's wedding. And for a brief moment, I thought to myself, how awesome would it be if I just put your name and Leigh's name where you had my name and Alex's name, and that would be a great speech. Especially after hearing your speech today to Leigh. Gonna be way better than what I prepared. But let's go. All right, so first, to my now sister, Leigh. I always wanted another sister. Said me, never. But seriously, having you as my new sister couldn't make me happier. Thank you for finding Bree, for loving Bree, and then continuing to love Bree after meeting all of us. Because you now have 7 crazy nieces and nephews. We understand we come on strong, and at times, but that didn't send you running. Instead, you opened your arms to all of us, and now we're a new family. See, it's weird reading. I'm so much better looking. All right. And now, baby Brianna. Oh, Bree, what can I say to you today on your wedding day? You're welcome. Because of me, see, I lose my spot. Because of me, you became the woman that Leigh now knows and loves. Yep, I was the one you grew up watching basketball. then I was the one that allowed you to play on my AAU basketball team, which got you into Wheaton ultimately. I was the sister that did all those wrong things growing up. Little child. And that's what made you appear so perfect. So there, you're welcome. Today is the only day that I will say this out loud. BB, you are perfect. You're a perfect sister for me and Shannon. You're a perfect aunt for all our kids. And now you're a perfect match for Leigh. I love you both so very much and wish you many, many years of love and happiness. Cheers to my sisters.
The font's too small, and I don't have my glasses, but I'm going to try, okay? No, I'm good. First, I want to take a moment to thank my parents and Mr. and Mrs. Pearson for this incredibly beautiful weekend. I also want to thank our cousins, Steph and Amanda, for truly saving Kate and I in the Matron of Honor department and giving Bree a fabulous bachelorette weekend. And if I'm being honest, I probably couldn't have topped what you did. I mean, as Bree so kindly reminded us, things aren't the same as when we got married. Apparently, we're old. So thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. We really appreciate what you did for us. Now on to Bree. First, I knew I wouldn't be able to find the words to describe how incredibly beautiful you look today. I knew I was in trouble when I started crying when I saw the pictures of you at Kristen's wedding last weekend. But you took my breath away, and you are just as beautiful on the inside as you are on the outside. I will try to keep this short and sweet, Leigh. Bree, you're the baby, the golden child, we'll say. I mean, totally the favorite until Gabe came along. Sorry. Being the oldest, I will admit I may have had my faults, and you are quite a bit younger than me, but I don't always think that's such a bad thing. I mean, I did get to coach your 8th grade basketball team, which means I will take a bit of credit for all of your basketball successes. Okay, no, I won't. But what I did do is drag babies and toddlers several hours away to watch you play. And I did that because I love you and because I know you had something special. And I wanted my kids to be close to you no matter where you are or how far away you live. Some might think you may have looked up to me, being the older one, but in the end, I look up to you. You have overcome so much. Hold on, I can't see. And, I mean, you were the only one of the three of us to actually go to college and graduate in 4 years. You are smart and beautiful and successful, and I admire you for so many things. Life hasn't always been easy for you, and I recognize that. And I couldn't be happier that you have found your forever and always, and your happily ever after. Okay. And I can't go on without saying a few words about Leigh. So, Leigh, you brought our Bree back. You brought the light back in her eyes. This is way harder than I thought it was going to be. Hold on. It was a few years where I was worried about what was in store for her future. And then there you were. You have loved her and protected her heart in every way imaginable. I remember the week leading up to the first time I was going to meet you. Bree must have called me 3 times that week, which is severely unusual for her. I knew then you were special, and Bree just wanted to make sure our first meeting went perfect, and it did. I knew from that day you were a perfect match, not only for Bree, but for us too. You have become a permanent part of this family, and I can't tell you how much we all love you. So I want to thank you for everything you are, for your beautiful heart and soul. And in closing, I just want to say congratulations to you both, and may you continue to be blessed and love in life forever and always.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gabe, and I'm Bree's nephew, and the lucky guy who is blessed to stand up for her today. First, I would like to take a moment to thank my Mima and Papa, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Mr. and Mrs. Pearson for making this a truly magical weekend. When Auntie Bibi asked me to be her best man, I have to admit I was a bit surprised. I mean, I am a 13-year-old kid. And I know that she has so many people in her life who she loves and respects, but she chose me, and that meant everything to me. I got to stand up next to her today as she said I do to another very special woman in my life. Bibi and I have a really special relationship. Now, I have to say, I was a bit worried about what this best man role meant. So I did what anyone my age would do, and I looked at Google. I mean, the first thing I saw was that I may have to arrange some out-of-town weekend to celebrate with her. First of all, I'm underage. Second of all, my parents moved me to North Carolina. And third of all, let's be honest, my mom even failed at that task. Sorry, Mom. And Auntie. And the next was I had to say a speech and offer words of wisdom. Now, I am a pretty smart kid, but words of wisdom with my almost 14 years of life experience. This made me a bit nervous, but then I decided it wouldn't be hard to tell you all just how much Bibi means to me. Bibi was there when I was born, patiently waiting, or should I say sleeping, until I arrived, and since then we have had a very special bond. I grew up going to her basketball games as her biggest fan, besides Mima, of course. And then I grew older. She became one of my best friends and one of my biggest fans. There to support me and give me advice, always encouraging me to be the best that I can. And what I want to say to you, Auntie Bibi, is you look absolutely beautiful. You deserve this happiness, and you deserve a life full of love. You deserve this absolutely perfect day celebrating you and Auntie Leigh. I think I'm over my allotted time limit, but I can't end this without saying a few things about our Auntie Leigh. I know I'm speaking for my siblings and my cousins when I say this, but I don't know how we got so lucky to have her in our lives, and we are all so thankful you picked Bibi. And you, too, have always been there for me, whether it's discussing the latest trends in sports or giving me advice, or seeing you and Bibi in the stands in the freezing, pouring rain. My point is, you are special, and I love you, and I love the love you and Bibi share. I'll leave you all with this. If you'll stand and raise a glass, if you're of age, that is. Bibi and Leigh. They say you don't marry the person you can live with. You marry the person you can't live without. And 14 or not, I can see you two have something special and beautiful. I love you guys both so much. To Bree and Leigh, cheers.
Great job, Leigh.
Nice job, buddy. All right. Bree's nephew, Gabe. Best man, everyone.
My sister, I mean, she's my best friend, and she's been that way literally for all I can remember. And growing up, we had like 100 experiences together, and it meant all the world to me. But it wasn't like the big experiences, the celebrations, the accomplishments. It was kind of like the small stuff that really meant like a lot to me. So when my sister and I were kids, every Christmas, we used to wake up at some ungodly hour at like 4 or 5 in the morning because Santa had come, and we were so excited. And I would go to her room, and we'd play Monopoly until, obviously our parents had woken up at a more reasonable time. And that was, I always smile when I think of that one. And then there was like another goofy one would be like, whenever there was like a really open day, when we were kids, whether it was like pouring rain outside or it was like a scorching hot summer day, or like a day where we just both lost our Game Boy privileges and we had a lot of time to kill. We used to take Disney movies and stack them 3 high, maybe 4 high on like an ambitious day, and we just watch them straight through. And I mean, really, my sister and I were like binge watching before Netflix was big, so it's kind of neat. But besides the fun times, what was important to me was it's the support my sister gave me, because I'm a little more reserved, kind of a little more independent. I don't really reach out too often to people for help, but I mean, my sister knows me more than anyone, and I always when I do reach out, I go to her because I trust her with everything, and she knows me the best. And that's why today is like really exciting for me, because of Bree Smith. Because Bree's someone who I've had the fortune to get to know over the past couple of years, and someone I'm honestly like really lucky to have as a friend and now as a sister. And love you too, kiddo. But yeah, and it's that, and I can't express how comforting it is to see my sister, you know, someone who supported me my whole life, to be supported, you know, by someone as strong as Bree. It means the world to me. I mean, I'm more than proud of you guys, and I love you guys so much. And I can't wait to see what these two beautiful brides, what they're gonna accomplish, you know, in the future. To Leigh and Bree.
So, on my list of things to say, at the top it says greetings, then Leigh and Bree. So, greetings, Leigh and Bree. You both look beautiful, absolutely stunning, and it's been a beautiful day. It's still going to be a beautiful night. I also want to say thank you to the parents, the Smiths and the Pearsons, for raising such wonderful women, and for all the planning that's gone into this wedding. I know it's been a lot, and it turned out wonderfully. So for those of you who don't know me, I should probably introduce myself. My name is Kat, and I am honored to talk to you tonight about Leigh and her new wife, Bree. Leigh and I met when we were 5 years old. She was actually in my mom's CCD class, and then we ended up going to first grade together, and we went to school together through high school. And then we went to college a mile apart. And then a little after college, we lived together, and now we live a street over from each other. So you could say we know each other pretty well. We have 25 years worth of memories, and most of which Leigh would probably be better at sharing with you, because I have a horrible memory. So when thinking about what to say tonight, I was a little overwhelmed, to say the least. There's a lot I could share, and I wasn't quite sure how to go about it, so I thought of a movie that you probably all know really well. It's called Finding Nemo. And there's a scene in it, I'll set the scene for you. Dory, who has short-term memory loss, and Marlin are about to part ways, and it's a really sad scene. And Dory realizes how much she loves him and can't live without him, and she says, "But Marlin, when I look at you, I'm home." And this always made me think of you, whether you were with me or not. When I was watching the movie, I always thought of you. When you think of home, it's a simple word we use all the time, but it has such powerful meaning and significance. It's a place of comfort and peace, and somewhere we seek out safety and acceptance, where we look to for guidance and hope. It can be a place or a feeling or a person. And for me, when I look at Leigh, when I talk to you or we just sit in the car, I am right at home, and I always will be. Also, Dory says to Marlin, "When I look at you, I remember things." Which can also be applied to our friendship, because when I look at you, I usually remember anything I forgot to do that day, or that we have plans together. Whether you've known Leigh for 25 years or for 2 weeks, you know she is an amazing person. She is constantly giving, constantly making people feel good around her, feel comfortable in their own skin, feel like they belong. So when I hung out with Leigh and Bree when they first started dating, I felt like the pieces were falling together, and then it made sense. Bree was so kind and caring, but also very sassy and sarcastic. She made Leigh laugh, made Leigh feel comfortable. She liked being outdoors and finding adventures, but also liked binge-watching reality TV shows. She had some pretty sweet dance moves.
And she was just as competitive, if not more, than Leigh, which is pretty intense. It became clear that Leigh and Brie had found each other's match. Leigh had found someone who could give her all the happiness she really deserves. I feel honored and blessed to have watched your relationship grow. You are both such caring and genuine individuals who deserve the best, and you found it in each other. Brie, I know you've been welcomed into the Pearson family today, but since Leigh is my sister, I would also like to welcome you to the Philippe and Burke family as well. I am so happy for you both, and I love you both so much. Cheers.
You can dance every dance with the guy who gives you the eye, let him hold you tight. You can smile every smile for the man who held your hand neath the pale moonlight. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, I know that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun. Laugh and sing. But while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. But don't forget who's taking you home and in whose arms you're gonna